Constraints. So constraints were nothing but if we try to insert the invalid data or the wrong data, I mean, like, the data is wrong, if it doesn't obey the constraints, then the constraints will not allow them. It will prevent that invalid data or the wrong data. These constraints actually maintain the database quality. That's why the constraints will not allow the invalid data or the wrong data to be entered into the database. Okay, so these will restrict, this will prevents from those invalid data to be entered. Okay, we have different types of constraints here: check constraint, unique constraint, not null constraint, primary key, foreign key. Like that, we have different kinds of constraints. Firstly, let us know about the check constraint. So check constraint means it will pass one condition. If the condition is accepted or obeyed, then only it will allow. If not, it will not allow to be entered. The data will not get entered off. So here, if you can see, we have created a table named students. Okay, and I have given the constraint check here. Okay, so in that check, age should be greater than or equals to 18. Okay, if the age is greater than or equals to 18, then only it will take the data. If not, it will give the error. If you can see, while I am inserting the data, I have used age for Sneha as 17. It was violating the constraint, right? It was violating the check constraint. The age should be greater than or equals to 18. That's why we have given 17 here. That's why it will not take that value. It will give error only. So that's why I have changed it to 27. So now it will take the value and happily we can retrieve the data. So using select star from students, the data will be get retrieved off. So Sneha has 27 and Lata has 22. Now let us create one more example of the same constraint to understand more clearly, more clearly. So I've created a table named orders. So create table orders. I have given few columns here. ID as serial to automate for the auto incrementation, and the data, I mean, primary key I have given. Quantity as integer, price for int, price also integer, and here I was using check constraint to check whether the quantity is greater than 0 and price is greater than 0. If at least any one of them is not got obeyed of, it will show the error. Here, if you can see, I have did a small mistake. Instead of id I have written is, instead of d I have written yes. So it was very common to do these kind of mistakes. So it's okay, no issues. So I have changed it and the table has been created. So whenever I try to insert the data into the orders table, if I give any negative values or 0 values, it will show the error. If I give only the positive values, it will take those values. Okay, it will take only that data. So here I was giving all the few negative values, and I will give the 0 also. So let's see what will happen. It will show the errors. So let's see what will happen. Here I was taking -1 as quantity, 0 as price, and quantity 2, price 4, and then quantity -4 and price is -3. Okay, I have taken the negative values and 0 values also. That means we are violating the check constraint here. Okay, we should not give any minus values or 0 value. So it was a big error, right? So that's why we are getting the error, and I have removed all the negative signs, and I have replaced the 0 also. 0 also with a 3, and then I have removed all the negative signs, kept only the positive signs. So the data has been inserted, and I was just retrieving the data. So select start from orders. Whenever I try to retrieve the data, I got the output, right? So okay, fine. I hope this check constraint is very clear for you all. And then let us now know about the next constraint, that is not null. Okay, not null is also one of the constraint which will not allow the data, which whenever the data is empty, that means if we did not enter any data, in any column, and whenever we use the not null constraint, it will not accept that. It Whenever you use the not null constraint, null value is not at all allowed, and it should definitely have at least value. Okay, null value is not at all acceptable here. Unfortunately, after dropping the table, I am trying to insert the data without creating. See how funny. Okay. Okay, now I was first I have to create the table, because I just want to show everything about students table only. That's why I was deleting the students table. I using the drop table name, and now I was trying to create it again. And for the name, the data type is varchar, right? And here for the name I have used not null constraint, if you observe. And for age, as it is check constraint only, the age should be greater than or equals to 18 itself. That only should be there. Okay, so here I was trying to insert the data. So if I did not give any value for the name, there is a not null constraint, right? So it will give the error, obviously. Here, by inserting the data, for the first column I gave only the 27. That means I gave only the age. I did not give name to it. So I will get the error here. So I got the error here. So insert has more target columns than expressions. More than expressions, it has more target columns. This is what the error shows. And here, and whenever I try to enter the name also, I will not get any error. The data will get inserted. And I can happily retrieve the data as well by using select star from students. If I do that, I'll get all the values. Okay, and then next constraint is unique constraint. The third constraint is unique constraint. This unique constraint itself tell us that the duplicate values are not at all allowed. Okay, the duplicate values are not at all allowed. Only the values should be very unique. In a column, the values should be unique only. The duplicate values will not get allowed. Okay, for that I was trying to create another column named email. Okay, I am trying to create another column named email using the alter command. So I have created another column named email, and it should be unique also. So if you give, here there were two persons, Neha and Srija. So both the two persons, the email should be unique. But if you give the same email, you will get the errors. Here first I will give the same emails. I will give neha@gmail.com for both the Neha and Srija. Okay, so let's see. First I have gave name Neha, age 22, and email as neha@gmail.com. And second value also I am giving the name as Sneha, and I will also give the age, and email I will give it as neha@gmail.com only. So I gave two duplicate emails, not the unique emails. Right, now I got the error because it violates the unique constraint, and so I got the error. Okay, so now if I change from Neha to Sneha, the data will get inserted. Okay, I can retrieve the data and see what will happen, what has happened. Okay, select start from students. So the data has been inserted and the emails were unique, Neha and Sneha. Alright, this is about the unique key. Okay, so now let us know about the primary key. I think from whenever we create the tables, always we will use a primary key. I don't need to particularly mention about it now, but yeah, I will tell. So primary key is nothing but it is a combination of both not null as well as unique constraints, because the value of primary key should not be null and it should be unique, right? So both the combination will is equals to primary key. Okay, so here if you can see, I was creating a table named hello. I was giving id as serial primary key, so the values of id should be unique, and it should not be null value. So the table has been created, and if I try to insert the data, it should be unique. Okay, this is how the primary key works. And now let us know about the foreign key. Foreign key is nothing but it will link one table to another table. For example, in one table, okay, there were two tables and there are same columns. Okay, there were two tables and there were same columns. So when you for example, the table 1 has a primary key in it, and then the table 2 of same column is called the foreign key. Okay, I think you did not understand. Let me explain it very clearly. So a table 1 has its primary key. Every table will have only one primary key. Okay, so that same column named in another table, that is a foreign key of another table. I hope I will tell it with an example, then it will be very clear for you. So I am trying to create two tables here because I want in first table the column should be a primary key, and in the second table the column should be a foreign key. That's why I will create two tables here. First table is student table, and then second table is marks table. Okay, in the student table I gave id and name as columns, and in the marks table I gave marks id, student id, score, subject as the columns here. And here we have in the first table student is a table name, id is the column name, right? There is an id for the student. Okay, this is a primary key. And in the second table we have student id directly, it is a foreign key. Okay, so second table from the marks table, foreign key of student id, what it was referring to student table id. In the student table there is an id, right? So for the student table it was referring for the student table, and in the student table it was referring for id. Okay, so this is how we can link both the primary key and foreign key together. So the table has been created, now you can just insert the data. So here in the student table you don't need to insert the value of id, right? It was auto incremented and it will start from 1. Okay, it will start from 1. So 1 means Sneha, 2 means Jyoti, 3 means Priya, like that it will be there. But here comes the point. 1 means Sneha, 2 means Jyoti, 3 means Priya, and 4 means Sushma. So the table has been inserted, the data has been inserted, and here if you can see the values of the data as well. But here there is a twist. So if you enter the data for the marks table, for the student id you should give only either 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. If not these values, if you give other values like 5, 6, 20, 30, like that, if you give, it will show the error, because in the student id we have only 4 ids, those are 1, 2, 3, 4. We don't have other ids other than these 4. So if you give other ids, it will not take them, it will restrict them, it will stop them, it will violate them. So here I gave student id as 20, it will show an error now. Okay, it will show an error now, marks violates foreign key constraint, because here we have used the foreign key, right, when we are trying to create the table. So that's why it was showing the error, it will not take the value 20. Okay, so if you can give either 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. Here I gave 2 and then I gave 4. So the table has been created, the values have been inserted into the table. Okay, so you should give only those ids only, because while we are creating we have linked it with foreign key, right? That's why. So both the tables details have been inserted, both the tables data have been inserted. So this is how the foreign key works. Okay, and now let us know about the two other constraints, they are on delete cascade and on delete restrict. Okay, first let us know about the on delete cascade. On delete cascade means if you delete a student, all their data will get deleted automatically. You don't need to delete it manually. If you delete a particular student, all their details will be deleted manually only. Sorry, all their details will be deleted automatically only. You don't need to delete them manually. Here I have created a table marks. I have dropped the table marks. Again I have created the table marks. So here I have used on delete cascade. Okay, on delete cascade at the last of wherever I use the foreign key constraint, there I have written on delete cascade, and I have inserted the data as well. Here I am trying to delete one column from the table, one row from the table. Delete from students where name is equals to Lata. So name is equals to Lata means second one, 245 physics, that's what. So the data will be get deleted. So the data of Lata, the data of Swapna, everything will be get deleted when you try to delete that. So data of Moni is not there, only the name Moni is there, but Moni doesn't have any data here. So that there is nothing to delete, right? Only the table will be get deleted, only the row will be get deleted. There is no data here. That's why it gave delete 0. So I am trying to retrieve the data to show whether they exist or not. So select a star from students means 0 rows. Select a star from marks means 0 rows. Nothing has been selected. So this is how the on delete cascade works. If you delete a student, all their data will get deleted. Now let us know about the on delete restrict. Okay, if you try to delete the student that has the data, you can't delete that student. If you try to particularly want to delete a particular student, and that student has its own data, and that student has their own data, means you can't delete that student. The student who doesn't have any data, only those you can delete. Okay, you can't delete the whole table. Okay, only the student who doesn't have any data, only those you can delete it without the errors. So let's just create the table named students here. So I've created the table named students. I have placed ID and name as the columns here, and then the table has been created. Again I am trying to create the table named marks. So I have used the columns marks ID, and for this marks ID I have used serial and primary key, and then student ID as another column, score, subject. So these are the three columns I have created in the marks table. And now I am going to link the foreign key with the primary key of first table. So foreign key of student ID references students of ID. Okay, students of ID references students of ID. So this is how we can link the foreign key and primary key. So the table has been created. Now let us try to insert the data into the students table and then marks table also. So when we try to insert the data into the students table, here sorry, one second. The main thing I have forgot here, I did not put any on delete restrict here. So that's why I have dropped the table again, and again I have created it, and at last of referring foreign key, primary key, I have put on delete restrict here. The table has been created perfectly. Okay, let me just insert the data after creating the table. Okay, insert into student of name. Name is the column, and into the name we have to insert the data. Okay, values of, so I will insert different types of names like Moni, Lata, Swapna, like that. I will Sushma or whatever, I will insert all those data. Here if you can see, instead of students I have written student. There is a small minor mistake. So students, so I have inserted the data have been inserted. and now I'm going to insert the data into the marks table also. So here the marks table, the columns were marks id is auto incremented, so no need to write it. Next, student id, score, subject. These are the three columns that we have to enter the data here. So values were, for the first one, 2 means here Lata. Moni, 1 means Moni, but I did not enter the values of the data for Moni. Okay, from Lata, Swapna only I have entered the data. For 2 and 3, for student ID 2 and student ID 3, I have entered the data. Whenever I try to delete the data of Moni, that is student ID 1, that means Moni, there was no data for the Moni, right? I did not give any data for the Moni. It just have the some value, that's it. So it, whenever I try to delete, it has been deleted automatically, right? It has deleted automatically. If you can see, whenever I try to retrieve the data, I did not got that Moni here because I have deleted, right? But if I try to delete either Lata or Swapna, I will get the errors, because this on delete restrict will not allow the students who have its own data, who have their own data. It will not allow to delete. It will violates the foreign key constraint. So here, if you can see, I am trying to delete both for Lata and Swapna, but the data was not getting deleted because we are using on delete restrict here. So that's how this on delete restrict works.